What? All right. So we are live here with the High Ground podcast. Please excuse me. I'm using a new platform for the very first time, and I don't have intros yet set up for it. But today on the High Ground podcast, we are going to go deep into the world of collecting for Star Wars. It's always fascinating. And I personally believe that the collecting market is what has kept Star Wars relevant for so long. So without further ado, let's jump into it and introduce our guests. All right. Hello, everyone, and how's it going?
Hi.
All right. Well, we will we'll start up with Toy Blaster, and I sent you guys a note real quick, but I want you to introduce with who are you, where can we find you, and I try to go a little different this time. If you can change the alignment of any character in Star Wars, who would it be? Would you want a Sith Obi-Wan? What do you got?
That's great. Icebreaker question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my call sign's Toy Blaster. My real name's Kevin. Most of the time, you can find me on TikTok and talking about Marvel and Star Wars. That's a great question. Oh my gosh, we just got a big snow blizzard just started right now. That's so weird.
Nice.
We're up here in Oregon, and this is crazy because it was 75 degrees yesterday. My alignment switch is always going to be Ezra Bridger. I'd love to see Ezra Bridger have a dark side run just for a little bit temporarily, and then come on back.
Okay.
I can see that.
Not gonna lie, I was hoping to get more. I was hoping to get more of that in Rebels. Like, he was tipping that way, but I'm like, I understand the audience for the show. When he made that walker like shoot his friend and then walk off, you were like, ugh, I don't know.
Totally.
He's going down.
And the whole warning about looking into the Sith holocron, like the Bendu was like, it's going to change. It's going to change your world. There's no going back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have Mac here, Lothcat. Super excited to have you on. Same question. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what alignment would you change?
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. My name is Mac or Mackenzie. Either one's fine. I'm Lothcat on TikTok, and that's pretty much the only place you can find me. I'm really bad at social media, so that's all I have time for right now. If I could change any alignment, I would have liked to see a Sith Padme at some point. Like, if she had stayed around with Anakin and they like ruled the galaxy together. I know that's not ideal, but it would have been cool to see.
I think they would have been successful, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I love it. And then last but not least, I got Jacob Parker. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what alignment are you changing?
So I'm on TikTok mostly, and I'm trying to kick off YouTube if I can ever get into a rhythm of what kind of videos I want to put on YouTube. I have some ideas for that, but mostly I spend my time on TikTok. I don't know if Toy Blaster agrees with me, but I think we need a Star Wars Kevin, like actually in the Star Wars galaxy. We've got an Ezra. We need a Kevin.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us.
Exactly. So, one of the most common names in the galaxy. Why don't we have it there? No, in terms of a character alignment that I would switch, definitely not Luke, because, for years the rumor was that was an option, and I'm glad that it didn't go that way. Or maybe Luke temporarily, kind of like with Ezra. But I probably would like to see Darth Maul not be Darth, just Maul, right? Like, actually kind of align with the light for a little bit instead of, completely dark the whole time. He kind of used people. That's still pretty dark. But I would have liked to have seen him have a change of heart before the end, before right at the end, right? And maybe do some good, just to, another thumb in the eye of Sidious. So
that would be cool. One thing I wish, have you guys read the book Dark Disciple?
Not yet, but I'm going to. It's on my list.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't want to spoil anything. I would love to see a case where we actually have a Asajj Ventress that comes to the light side. She originally trained to be a Jedi, under Master Kynarik. So that's always been there. She's always known it. And especially when you read Dark Disciple, like you can picture it, and I don't know, I think it would just be really cool.
That's great.
And
that's a great pick.
That was actually my number 2, so I'm glad you said that one.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, today, and by the way, I do want this to be a conversational. So if you guys, feel like jumping in and adding things and stuff, feel free to do it. I only call for one people, so we're not tripping over someone. I like to, but always feel free to jump in if you got something to add. Actually, before I move forward, I want to hit some people in the chat real quick. First, I want to say thank you to DePaul. I really appreciate that. That's me and Element always talk about money in terms of packs of ramen. That's a whole lot of ramen there, so I certainly certainly appreciate it. But let's see here. This is so I have Seamus who wants to see Watto as an honest businessman. That just made me laugh. We got Connor Fay who wants a dark side Luke. We got a dark Kit Fisto, which I think would be terrifying. I'd still love to see it. I have Rax who says he wants to see Grievous with 4 heads instead of 4 arms, and I don't even know what that means. Another vote for Ventress. The fashion for Darkseid Padme alone is worth it. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yeah, she would nail that.
Also, I know this isn't a super popular opinion, but I would have really loved more of Ben Solo and like some actual light side Kylo Ren. Maybe see him try to redeem himself too. I know sequel opinions are controversial, but
hey, no, they are always welcome here. I've always wanted there we go. I've always wanted to see, like, if he had survived, I would love some type of like Jedi Ronin show where, because he can't just come back and join the Resistance. People would be like, bro, like,
get out of here.
You killed all our family. Yeah.
So I would love to see him wandering the galaxy, just like doing good deeds, and him being like, like sort of the stranger type, but in Star Wars. I think that'd be incredible.
Or having like a Bucky Barnes list of people he wronged, trying to make it right.
Yes, the amends. You got to make amends list.
All right, but jumping into it, I wanted to talk to you, a bunch of collectors. I love all your content. Toy Blaster, when I found you, you had a mountain of just stuff, which is awesome. Mac, you always, I just wish I could see your entire collection of stuff, but I gotta ask, why do you guys? I'll go to Mac first. Why do you collect? Where does that come from?
So it honestly started during COVID. Before COVID, I didn't really have much of a collection. It was like 1 or 2 things here and there, but I just loved the treasure hunt aspect of like finding something in person and like seeing something that you may not have heard of before. So I've really loved the idea of like going out and searching for something. And it's just been a really fun hobby during COVID.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about it like that, but like when I was younger, I was into geocaching, and I feel like it's the same thing, but you get to keep stuff.
Yes.
How about you?
Geocaching with a way bigger budget.
Yes.
Exactly. How about you, Jacob? I've always admired your Lego collection and your Lego Pong Krell specifically.
Yeah, love that one. So I I was not a big collector as a kid. Some people in my school were. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so we had what we had. Now, my parents did invest in Legos pretty early on, and that was great, except this was way before they ever licensed anything, with Star Wars or any other IP. So I had to build my own X-Wings and my own, walkers and things like that, which was cool. Never quite close enough for me, but, I did the best I could. And then I still have all of those. I also have 5 kids now, which has helped me to collect more Legos because I buy them presents, which end up, behind me. Right. They don't get to take them to college or anything. I protect them. So not everybody has a big budget to be able to do this stuff, but there are ways you can collect, on a small budget, a modest budget, and still anyway, so that's what I've done. I love building things. I like the aspect of my kids loving actually these toys, so they play with them. I still have a Millennium Falcon I've got to find all the parts for now and rebuild it. I'm really heartbroken about that one, but that kind of thing. So it's fun. I like the Legos. I've also started collecting puzzles. So like this BB-8 behind me is a puzzle, and I also have a R2-D2 puzzle, and then a Han and Chewie puzzle that I've got to still build. So one of these days I'm going to start building that one when I get super bored. But so there are different ways you can collect and different things you can collect. I think probably your question later about how has this affected the fandom. I've seen people have these toys, like Star Wars toys, since the 80s, since the 70s, I guess. And that really has kept their love for Star Wars alive, even before there was like all the expanded universe and all that stuff. So like toys that's why we have Boba Fett. Boba Fett wouldn't exist as a character without the toy. He would have been forgotten probably. So, yep.
Oh, lightning question real quick before I go to Toy Blaster. Is it AT-AT or is it AT-AT?
It's officially AT-AT, but both are okay. So I know the toy, they always said AT-AT, but Lucasfilm actually came out and said it's AT-AT, but we've had in canon both pronunciations. So, I mean, it's just like in the real world. There's not one pronunciation for a lot of things in the real world, right? So either one you say is okay.
Yeah, either one is fine, but which one do you say personally?
AT-AT.
Okay.
Because I want to be correct. So,
how about you guys? Is it AT-AT?
I say AT-AT.
Okay.
It's fine.
I didn't know that though.
I say Imperial Walker to throw curveballs.
You mean like that one, right? AT-AT, right there.
Yeah.
Yep. That's Imperial Walker back there.
Yep.
Nice. You just avoid it altogether, Kevin. I like it. All right. But yeah, going to Kevin. Like, why do you collect?
Man, I remember my first Star Wars action figure. So my dad's like, we're gonna watch Return of the Jedi on VHS tonight, and getting ready to show me. He's like, but we can't do it unless we go get an action figure first. And so I just absorbed this whole culture of collecting. It was thrust upon me, and I've never looked back since. And I have a little girl. We do the exact same thing. Before a movie premiere, we go get an action figure. So I think I had Star Wars action figures before I ever saw any Star Wars movies. And it was just a part of the culture, and absorbed it from my dad for sure. And I always look at it like Legos, action figures, lightsabers. I brought some stuff tonight too. It's beautiful art. Like somebody has sculpted this, 3D printed, put this together, and it's just like our way of owning some of the art of this amazing history that we love so much. And so that's how I justify when my bank account's at zero. I'm collecting art. I'm collecting art in Black Series Star Wars figures.
Awesome.
But I feel like I was mentored into it by my dad, so I have an excuse.
I was definitely mentored into it by another TikTok user, also my friend in real life, Star Wars collector. His collection is insane, and we've been friends for a long time. I didn't own a single Star Wars anything. I just was a fan. And then one day I went over and saw his collection, and I was like, I want to do that.
Another TikToker that I'm always impressed is Pixelated Erica. I don't know if you follow her. but like the shots of her house with all of the Phantom Menace, especially Darth Maul stuff, is just amazing. Definitely follow her. She's also hilarious, but she always declines coming on the podcast. So someday we'll get her.
Mac, you, if starting in the pandemic was like your inspiration for collecting, you're definitely way ahead of the game. Like you now are teaching people how to do it.
Yeah, I had nothing. I didn't even have like a Black series. I didn't have anything, but I was in like a totally small apartment, and then I moved and I was like, I have so much room. I need to fill it.
Awesome.
So
I mean, since we're all collecting, well, you guys all, my collection is very, very rough and limited at this point in time.
What's the main thing that you collect, though? Tell us. Give us your category. You could.
Well, if I could, I would also be in the Black series. I actually started doing that with Marvel. My goal was to collect every iteration of Spider-Man, and so I actually do have quite a few of those. And then just collecting Star Wars stuff. My favorite is my Black Series Thrawn, just because I'm just a enormous Thrawn fan. And then the thing I want to collect the most is lightsabers, but that is not for the faint of heart.
No, that is
not. I can't hang in there. But I like how Element 7 in his chat puts it. Says Chaco collects information like me.
Yeah, I was going to say knowledge in books. Yep.
So to date,
that's cost effective.
and I am up to date on all of the books, including Thrawn Greater Good. It was okay. It wasn't the best, but still very much enjoyable. Although I may have been reading it with diminished capabilities because I was in the hospital when it came out. But all right, since we're collecting stuff in Star Wars, I gotta ask where your guys' Star Wars journey began. Like, what made you interested in it and collecting it specifically? And I'll start this one with Jacob.
So I was born 6 months before Star Wars came out in 1977, 6 or 8 months. And so, I was brought to a drive-in movie theater. And so from my earliest memories, Star Wars existed, and it was just part of the cultural consciousness already. So that's, thankfully I had a much older brother and parents that would let me, drag me to those things, almost 4 years old when I saw Empire the first time, which was, that Muppet was freaky, but I learned to love Yoda. It took a while. But yeah, so it's always been part of my cultural consciousness. Every time it would come on, because I couldn't afford VHS back in that day. So every time it would come on TV, we would just sit and watch it again. Every time it came back out in theaters, we would go see it. So yeah, just from the beginning.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. And how about you, Toy Blaster?
Yeah, just like I said, my dad showing me the VHS, rite of passage, I don't care how young you are, you're going to watch these and you're going to love it. And sure enough, it got in there. He did his work, he did his duty, and got the Star Wars injected into my bloodstream. And so I think I'm one of those kids who has that very special, wore out the VHS. The VHS have just been destroyed because you come home from school and you just watch the VHS. And that was my Star Wars tradition. I got into the lore, and that was it. And then my big claim to fame was when Revenge of the Sith came out, we rented a whole theater, and we got it the night before because we rented it. So we got to have the premiere, and we got to invite anyone who wanted from the city. It was really cool. It was a huge event, Revenge of the Sith night. Happy anniversary, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 16 years old today. So it's weird to think that it would be able to get a driver's license. Just a teenager. As well, I was talking about Revenge of the Sith, but it does have the same release day as The Phantom Menace, which is 22 years old today as well. I just, had to post about Revenge of the Sith. I didn't want to get bogged down and confuse people. Plus, I just think it's better. Love Phantom Menace. Love it. Don't get me wrong.
I should post about Phantom Menace after this because I got married like a week before the Phantom Menace came out. And so like 22 years is like, we're right alongside that. Right. So every time special. It turns another year, my marriage is another year older. So, and I think I saw it in 2 countries. I'm pretty sure we saw it in Malaysia because my wife is from there when we went over there after our wedding. So we'd just gotten out of college. So I got to see the prequels as an adult, already trying to launch at least. And it was a good time. So yeah, Phantom Menace.
That's a big deal. Every time you watch Phantom Menace, you think of your romance. That's pretty special.
Yeah, if only my wife would.
Every time you see Jar Jar, you think of your wife.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, more like Padme.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. How about you, Mac?
Mine is, I would say, not the typical story. A lot of people talk about Star Wars and like loving it through their childhood and then growing up with it forever. I actually didn't even see Star Wars until I was in high school. Like I might have seen it at some point, but it didn't register to me until high school. And then I became like hyper fixated on it and was obsessed and still am to this day. But I remember seeing it as a kid and like playing the pod racer video games, but not taking it seriously, not liking the universe that much. And then one day I watched it again and it like blew my mind. I didn't appreciate it until I was like 18. But now I'm like obsessed. So I made up for lost time.
Absolutely. It's funny how things just change over time. Like, with the Clone Wars specifically, now my favorite arc is the Umbara arc. But when I was little, couldn't watch it. I just couldn't handle it. Like it made me so sad and uncomfortable. I love Brooks' comment here. It says, my favorite tweet I saw today was "Happy Anniversary, Revenge of the Sith," and its PowerPoint transitions.
Ooh,
the wipes, the Star Wars wipes are just beautiful. I love it.
And my claim to fame, people were talking about that, but a moment that sticks with me like for the rest of my life. I actually got to go to the world premiere of Solo, which was like incredibly lucky. I got super, super lucky. I was at the Cannes Film Festival as an intern.
Whoa.
And I got to go and I didn't have a ticket. Some guy handed me his ticket and I got to see Solo like before everyone else in the world.
Nice.
And it was insane. One of the craziest moments ever.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, so Mac does some stuff in the film too. Like you're just this multi-talented like beast. I'm eagerly awaiting your Clone Wars project. I think it's gonna
Thank you so much. I'm really excited about that too. One of our animators, I saw he left a comment. He's just incredible. The animation team is like blowing my mind. So I've done some storyboards and some writing, but our animator is like out of this world. So everyone should check it out if you haven't seen what he's doing so far, but it's really cool.
And for anyone that is not sure what we are talking about, let me show you real quick. She sent me the trailer. Mac is working on the Adventures of the 501st, and it looks amazing. As a project, it just, I don't know. I'm excited to see what you guys do with it because yeah, your animators are just like out of this world.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Mike Chan, he's here. He's our main animator and his work is absolutely incredible. So I've been really excited and my work on the storyboards and the writing has been really fun. So it's been a great experience. Awesome.
Well, I'm always happy to plug everyone whenever I can. Also, I gotta say thank you so much for the super sticker, Ace Bronx. I appreciate it, definitely. Um, I got off track and forgot what I was talking about, which happens with me from time to time. But we talked about our Star Wars journeys. Each of us, me and myself, talked about it many times. I was also a kid like Kevin Toy Blaster. I'm calling you Toy Blaster mostly because we have two Kevins, so there's a lot of Kevins. But yeah, I also wore out the VHS tape of Empire Strikes Back. Just like Kev, I was terrified of Yoda, especially when he gets serious in the hut. He was funny. He's like, oh, he's a funny little puppet, and then
it changes.
Gets serious and
yeah.
His
There
face
was this shampoo that they sold with the Yoda head on it and like all the different Star Wars characters' heads. And so my mom bought that. And so I'm like a 3.5-year-old kid with this Yoda staring at me in the bathtub. And that also freaked me out. So like, why do we have to collect that stuff? Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Nightmare coming back. Thanks, Mom.
I love it. Okay, so also lightning round. I gotta ask, what is your guys' favorite part of Star Wars? I'll go to Toy Blaster first.
Favorite part?
Yeah,
that's a great question. I feel like right now I'm just thriving on the prequels era content that's just going out. Like I'm an original trilogy person. I grew up in that. Like you said, Empire Strikes Back to me is like the most perfect movie ever made. But all the hype before this Kenobi show that's coming up, all the stuff that's coming out with the Bad Batch, there's so much content that's coming out of the prequels era. Ideas, spin-offs, characters getting into the Mandalorian, characters getting into, all these new shows. I think that right now is like fueling me. And the Bad Batch has just been like, I put on my swim cap and I dove into the Bad Batch and it just absorb it. And it's just been like a wild emotional journey. So yeah, I think right now, my favorite part, I would say like those dark times between the prequels and the original trilogy. I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying all the stories that are coming out of it.
Absolutely, and it's there's weaving that interconnectivity between all three of these trilogies, and going before them too. So that's super exciting. How about you, Mac?
I got really dragged for this the other day, but I stand by it. The Last Jedi is still like something I go back to all the time, and I just love the way The Last Jedi was so different than the rest of the Star Wars films. And I love the idea of being no one and still being able to do something amazing. Also, side note, I was actually in Dubrovnik when they were filming the casino scenes for The Last Jedi.
What?
So it was like the coolest thing ever because Game of Thrones had just finished there and then they were starting Last Jedi filming there. So I have like a special love in my heart for all of The Last Jedi. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, I mean we stand The Last Jedi here for sure. Although I will say, because it overtook Empire to become my favorite, but with my most recent watching of Empire, it switched, and I have come to terms with the fact that I love them both equally, and my favorite is whichever one I watched last. So I feel like that's gonna stay the same for a while.
Recency bias.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, my list changes. It's, if you asked me at the beginning of this summer to now, it would be very different. How about you, Kev?
So my list is also changing in terms of the films, but The Last Jedi was my favorite since about midway through my first viewing. I was like, yep, this is it. This is Star Wars right here. And so I just really love it. But The Return of the Jedi was my favorite for, decades, right? Since it came out. I didn't care what the hate, I got from the Ewoks and the teddy bears and all that. Didn't matter. I was a Return of the Jedi stan at the time. And Luke Skywalker, always my favorite Jedi. And then, Rey, really excited about that character. And it's probably going to be so that the sequels in the original trilogy kind of evens out in terms of which one's my favorite. I have a hard time picking right now. And I still like the prequels. People think, oh, you hate. No, I don't. I don't hate any of it. I love all of it. But if I had to pick one thing that I love the most, if I could only have one thing of Star Wars for the rest of my life, it would actually be the soundtrack. And particularly for the Skywalker saga. I'm a musician, and I just dearly love, especially the original trilogy tracks. Like, I have most of them memorized. Just
Asteroid theme plays in my head all of the time. So
yeah, every time I hear, and I'm picturing the Millennium Falcon going through the asteroids, and I hear da 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 da. It's like so much serotonin. It's just amazing. And Luke and Leia theme. There's so many that are slept on too. So I love the music a lot.
Yeah,
John Williams is like such a genius. I don't even understand how John Williams can create like such vivid emotion with what he does. Like, it's incredible.
I feel like he partially carried the franchise. I feel like
heck yeah, a lot of movies he did, honestly. Other franchises too.
If Star Wars kept like the synth soundtrack of the futuristic things of the time, it would feel so dated. But this made it timeless. But
how
what were you going to say, Toy Blaster?
Holt's planets,
I was going to say
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jacob.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say just how amazing the Bad Batch music is. Like, now we're starting to get all these sets of scores and music are not John Williams, which is so weird to think about, like non-John Williams Star Wars pieces and suites and all this. The Bad Batch is just it's been phenomenal. I love the themes. I love that. I just thought it's been a great, because I'm with Jay Kev. Like, I love the music of Star Wars. Always have. I really focus in on Marvel music. I listen to the DC music as well. But I thought the Bad Batch music is 5-star, incredible for a streaming show.
No, I have DePaul in here says Yub Nub is my jam. Yub
Smacks.
Eat up, up. Absolutely. We have a lot of music admirers here. So yeah, you are definitely in good company.
The only one I can't handle is Jedi Rocks. I won't take any questions at this time. Not my favorite switch, from the originals, but that's okay.
Dude, Choco, don't
like
you have a Jedi Rocks? Don't you have a Jedi Rocks performance on TikTok?
I do. I can do a pretty good impression of the guy with the nose who's like, Lower, cookie,
no. Yeah.
But I have to do it very loudly, and I probably shouldn't do it here. I also do a pretty good Pumbaa from Hakuna Matata, but that's a whole separate topic we won't get into. So I used to snowboard a lot. I'm from Northern California, spent a lot of time up in Tahoe. And yeah, for me, the Empire soundtrack, just coming down the mountain, like listening specifically Asteroid theme. I don't know. That and the Pirates of the Caribbean main theme while you're snowboarding, it just feels epic,
I can imagine that as you're dodging and weaving.
Yeah. So here's the big question. I feel like we're gonna talk about this one for a long time, but what importance do you think that the toys and collectibles had on the longevity of Star Wars? I think it has to be huge, but I'll go to Mac first. So what are you thinking?
I think it's incredible. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of chances for collecting toys like this. So now that I'm adult and like can make my own collection, I feel like it's my way of connecting with the films even when I'm not watching them. Like what Toy Blaster was saying about the art, I feel like that's so true. And the people who design these figures and the art for the boxes, like that's almost as in-depth as what Lucasfilm and ILM are doing, when they are creating their merch. So I feel like it's a part of the film as well, because you can create your own, memories with them, the same way you feel nostalgic about the films. So I like it.
It's funny you said, like, I'm thinking about storylines that I created myself in my bedroom with toys that I still think would slap on screen.
Yeah.
So I never thought about it from that angle, because all of us are creating our own Star Wars stories, with these. That's really cool. How about you, Jacob?
I think it's been huge. I know George Lucas got a lot of flack, even from Kurtz and others, about caring more about toy sales than about story. Well, the toy sales are part of the story. Like, you don't create a franchise that's going to last long without kids having something tangible to fall in love with. Whether it be now video games. Video games were awful when I was a kid because the technology just wasn't there, but as they got better and better, and the actual action figures and things like that. Like, I mentioned I didn't have a lot of money growing up to collect a lot of Star Wars stuff, but like every time there was a new movie, stuff came out in the McDonald's Happy Meals, and my parents would get me that. Like, I remember having like Play-Doh, like the snow speeder, like being able to make one of those because I had a mold for that. Like, all that stuff was so cool. And I just have so many great memories playing with my friends' toys and watching their VHS tapes and wearing them out at their house. So like, yeah, that really feeds into the nostalgia of it. And I don't think it would be what it is without that. Think about franchises that were pretty good, but didn't have a lot of toys. They don't really have the longevity. I mean, nothing does, right? That Star Wars does.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And also, you brought up in the beginning, like, we wouldn't have Boba Fett without toys. We had that all white Boba Fett. People like, that's super cool. And then even before the holiday special, they had someone in a Boba Fett costume at some event.
I think in San Francisco, somewhere in Northern California. Yeah, even before the film came out, that he was in. Yep.
Yeah. That was even before the holiday special, which introduced the animated version of him riding on a dinosaur shooting stuff, which is it's by far the best part of the holiday special. That and the Wookiee dialogue. Toy Blaster, what do you think?
Yeah, I love that talk about nostalgia, that talk about collecting pieces of art. Is a big way I look at it. There's also a bad part of it. I've got like this compulsion or this impulse to, as soon as I hear this new release is out, I need to go get it. And that's like my lack of self-control and the like bad parts of my personality that need to go get the complete collection, the addiction part of it. So yeah, that's definitely in there too. And that causes some problems. But I think the beautiful thing that I think about a lot is, like, when the Bad Batch was announced and then they announced all the Black Series figures for the Bad Batch, I had loved Echo so much. So Echo is one of my all-time favorite clones, going all the way back to the Clone Wars. And I just thought, I'm going to get every piece of Echo memorabilia that they put out. And so I'm going to focus on it. And it just made me like the show more. So as I collected, as I got into the Echo figures, I just started enjoying the show more. And I also started like reading more into character development than was really there, because I have my own setup of figures and sculptures and that sort of thing. And so people are like, man, Kev, you make the Bad Batch sound like this 5-star Oscar award-winning show, but it's just a kid's cartoon on Disney Plus. I'm like, no, it's not. These are my friends.
Yeah.
So Echo is my friend.
And you were in good
company.
company.
So I think I live a lot through my collection, through my pieces, for sure.
We got Mike Chan here, who is also an Echo fan. Is there an Echo Bad Batch toy yet?
No. It's like everyone was so disappointed.
It's the secret one. They did announce the Hot Toys figure. It's only like $399. No big deal.
Oh, okay. I'll take 6.
Yeah.
They did announce an Echo. Yeah, that's true. I saw that. The Hot Toys one is insane, but you can get a vintage collection one, the 3.7-inch figure. That one's still available. So you just can't get the Black Series, like Bad Batch one.
Yeah. I mean, And while we're talking about hunting, I mean, I feel like we need to do a show and tell. We'll do a toy blaster first. If you want to show your most recent edition.
Oh yeah, that's great time because today I just got the Crosshair figure, Black Series. Check it out here. It's a really good figure. I do think that Crosshair, the character development for Crosshair in the show is just ridiculous. Like they are going to rip our hearts out. And
don't do this to me, man.
My big question on the Crosshair figure is, he's kind of Bucky, right? Like when Bucky was the Winter Soldier. He's murdering and committing war crimes. He's out there just doing the worst of the worst. Is he redeemable? Like he can't live. Like Crosshair can't live after the war crimes. And then I also got today I also got the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Shout out to J Kev. And the cool thing about that figure is he has he has got the blaster that Luke destroyed. And so he's got that like burnt up blaster from the lightsaber.
It looks like he has that dent that Chaco talked about too.
Yep, always.
It's gotta be accurate.
I also brought my my favorite lightsaber hilt to the chat today.
Nice.
Everyone probably knows which one this is, but it's just and like Chaco said, if you try to collect lightsabers, somebody in your life is going to get upset. Could be a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, somebody, a parent. Somebody's going to get real upset. But this is probably my favorite lightsaber that I own. It's a really good one. And it's just a beautiful, like, to me, that's a work of art. That's a work of art to own some of these hilts, some of these lightsaber hilts. Yeah, so I brought a lot more stuff. I'll kick it over so we can do some more show and tell.
I'm hoping that your Crosshair has a like an operation type game where you can actually remove the chip. That would be nice. Because I want them to so bad.
We'll see if that happens. But when Wrecker bumped his head, that hurt me. But before we go too off topic, I gotta ask. Mac showed something she picked up today earlier. If you want to share that.
Yes, I got really lucky because these have been so hard to find where I live. I've seen other people posting them, but I found the Clone Wars figures that I've been so excited about because these are actually new molds, which means they've never been made before. This Obi-Wan and Anakin are like a brand new design by the team. So I was really excited about those. And I also brought my figure I got yesterday, the Cal Kestis, which is the deluxe one. He's got like the little bogling, which I love. So those are my new acquisitions.
A cool side figure. That's really cool.
Yeah, this one is amazing too. So these are my new acquisitions.
Nice. Yeah, I have like 2 targets that are pretty close to me, and I will have to be hunting every single day. And I doubt I'll find them because anytime anything is popular, like there's just too many people here in San Diego. There's so many people.
The Clone Wars figures are out tomorrow. So if anyone is like trying to get them, tomorrow is when they're street dated in Southern California, at least to my knowledge. So I went to a Target and the employees told me. So good luck.
And that one's really cool too, because the other Black Series Obi-Wan in clone armor is his 2003 animated clone armor, and the one you just got is the actual Clone Wars series 2008 with the like clone armor, so it's a little different, right?
I have both, yeah, and I actually compared them this afternoon, and they are different. So the face on the clone commander Obi-Wan is like an older face, and this is slightly different.
I need it. Going to Target tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's incredibly detailed. Like if you look at this, that's, I don't know if you can see it really well, but like that's Ewan McGregor for sure. It looks really good.
Nice. Yeah,
Elon in the chat just says the closest Target to me is in another country. You're just easy. You got to get a plane ticket. You're just easy.
Yeah, Elon, if I recall correctly, he lives in South America. But yeah. And then I have DePaul, who says his wife bought both of his lightsabers for him. So if you aren't collecting, but you make it known that you really want them, then
yes,
rather than them being mad at you, that's just gift ideas. So.
Yes, the Amazon wish list. It depends how much they love you, though. It depends how much they love you.
Well, DePaul's wife loves him very much, apparently. No, I love it. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on it is I'm a Star Wars lore guy. I love the lore so much. Most of the lore only exists for toys. There's a lot of people and things that didn't have names. It was only the toys that gave it. So, if you know, like we know, even things like the Ewoks, which the word Ewok does appear in the credits, but it's toys that makes it popular. And I just can't help but think that these kids, Star Wars' longevity to me really is based around appealing to the next generation. And that's why with like the sequel trilogy was the first time that the people making the films were the ones that grew up as children playing, like seeing the J.J. Abrams playing with toys and filming them, and that's how he got into film, is something that's special. And so
I can't remember which director of The Mandalorian it was, Robert something, but he and his kids actually got his toys out and did, like, instead of storyboarding, they actually acted out the scenes of what he wanted in that episode. And just watching behind the scenes. Yeah, there we go. That was amazing. And he's like, yeah, this is totally the way you're supposed to do it. So he's doing it right.
Yeah, that was the Boba Fett episode, if I'm not mistaken.
That's actually how he convinced them to do that scene where Boba Fett's just like violently beating up those stormtroopers. That wasn't going to be allowed, but he was like, if I show them what I can do, they actually let him do it, even though it was pretty violent for like The Mandalorian, which I was excited about.
I mean, awesome. Yeah, he did just smack stormtroopers like faceplate off. That was like a first time. But yeah, I love it.
No, Choco, you bring up a great point though about, I remember collecting action figures, and like you said, the names of like all the characters at Jabba's palace, you would never have learned those names if you didn't like look at the action figures. I mean, all of their, like, some of their names were just their species. And that's how Star Wars lore developed. Like, they didn't even have proper names. They just named them after their species. And it was this just very cool opportunity for the action figure designers to be involved in writing lore. And that's a huge chunk of history for collectors, for sure.
Absolutely. And then in that, I feel, is what pushed authors and stuff to start writing and creating this expanded universe. And now we're here today, I mean, there's people who have a full-time job just talking about Star Wars on the internet. That's wild to me, I do
feel like the story group could bring us in to help a little bit.
Oh, that would be a dream for me. I love that they exist, and I can tell that they're doing a great job. But like, I would love to just pitch some ideas. And so, if you're listening, Lucasfilm, call me.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I'm trying to get there. I'm slowly crawling my way up. So wish me guys luck. So I gotta ask now, how big are your guys' collections, and also, do you know if they've grown in value? Is this a money pit? I guess I shouldn't say money pit. That sounds negative, but I don't. My mind went straight to recently. And Jacob was there for it, but we watched The People versus George Lucas, and there was this woman in this room with all these action figures, and she's like Star Wars took away my husband and it took away my kid. And we're like, okay, lady, like that's a little far. But yeah.
She's blaming George Lucas for that. Yeah.
But the entire wall was just covered in action figures, and this is, 2010 when that came out. Yeah. But yeah, how big are your guys' collection? How about you, Kev, to start?
So I actually need to do, like, I've been asked many times by some of my followers to go and do like an inventory of all my stuff and actually make some videos on it. So it's big enough that I've moved like my entire living room cabinet down into my movie room in the basement, or like 2 large cabinets and then another small cabinet with just Legos with lights above them and stuff like that now. So, and that's about half the collection. So it's not, I mean, I have some friends on TikTok that have maybe 10 times the size of collection I do, and that's fine. I can't afford all that because I've got kids in college and kids on their way. So whatever. But that's why, like, nobody that feels like it's daunting to get into it, you don't have to feel like you've got to invest thousands of dollars right away. You can just get like the Lego Star Wars kit that you want. Like, for instance, mirrored here, got Poe Dameron's X-Wing tonight. So I'm going to be building that live if anybody wants to watch it a little bit after this particular broadcast. So that I have, it's my 3rd X-Wing and 4th of that type of ship, because I have the one that was from the Republic as well. But it's just, yeah. So it's not huge, but I would say it's moderately, it's what I want, right? So like, I don't just collect them just to collect them. I go out and say, I want that set, and I'll save up for it, and I'll just go get that set. So I made a couple of bucks off some TikToks, and here I am.
Awesome. And that's actually one of the things I love specifically about Legos. I don't have a lot. I do have Poe's X-Wing. I have the TIE Silencer. I've got the U-Wing, and I've got a Y-Wing. But just, that's something where just building it is just feels good for your brain, and it's just
therapy session.
Since I was a little kid, I was building Legos. I had a couple of other types of toys as a kid, like Transformers. I wish I still had the Gen 1 Transformer stuff, but whatever. All that's gone. But I have all the Legos. Like, I've probably lost maybe a dozen pieces over the years. I've got thousands of pieces from many thousands of pieces from over the years collecting them. And so I can build stuff that aren't just kits. So that's another thing with some types of collectibles. You can actually build vehicles that there isn't even a kit for yet. And you can maybe, suggest a design on brick, whatever it's called, brick set or something.
Oh yeah.
And so it's really exciting to me. Like now I have 2 of Poe's X-Wings. The one he got, there's that one he never actually flew in The Force Awakens, right? We see it and it's like, oh, that looks cool. Boom. Never flies it. So I still want that one. Yeah, exactly. I want to see it fly so bad. But I just got the one from the Rise of Skywalker, which is that orange one. Yeah. So I'm excited about putting that together. But it's fun because that still connects me to my childhood as well. And then I'm just like, it's Star Wars. I have like, I don't know, 700 or 800 pieces of the minifigs of Star Wars that are not all together. So I've been trying to collect those. My kids have just destroyed all of them. So I've been putting them back together. I probably have 20 R2D2. So if anybody needs one, I could probably hook you up. I got a new one in this kit right there.
Oh, it's going to happen. The chat's going to blow up if you say stuff like that.
Yeah. And how about you, Toy Blaster? How big is your collection?
It's big. It's probably the biggest of anyone that I hang out with. I mean, there's a lot of people on TikTok that I follow that are I've got it set up a lot of the way that Mac has hers set up. I've got a video running right now. Let's see. I did a big toy tour for May the 4th. Let's see if this shows up here. Yeah, there's me with my Black Series. And it's just wall after wall after wall.
Most impressive.
Yeah. It's huge. I mean, and so I'll tell you a good story about this. So you remember like the the 1980, the late 70s, 80s vintage Star Wars figures. You can still find them from place to place. If you got the complete set with all the weapons and everything, it was a very special thing. And the first house I ever bought in Oregon, I sold my original set of vintage Star Wars figures and used that cash to put a down payment on the house. And that original set was really cool. It was like a crazy, it's really difficult to find every little piece to get get everything complete. There's some extremely rare ones in there that came out in like 1984. And it was really cool. It was just like this great. And then after I bought the house, I went back and recollected them again and tried to find them all. But it's big. I got Legos. I got too much. I have something called a Darth Vader shrine. So Darth Vader's my favorite character of all time, movies, not just Star Wars, anything. And so I have a Darth Vader shrine, and my compulsion is if I see a Darth Vader anything, I buy it. It doesn't matter what it is, t-shirt, slippers, keychain, Darth Vader. Got it. Someday I'll show the Darth Vader shrine, but it's very personal.
Nice. I did not know that. And next time I do a Darth Vader episode, I'm definitely going to bring you back. And also, I have to have Victoria Vader. That's required.
Yeah, I just applaud your Spider-Man question because I also have an Iron Man shrine and a Marvel Legends collection that's ridiculous.
Nice. I love that. It just extends beyond.
Marvel's the next big thing I'm going to start collecting. I have a few Marvel Legos, but I want to start getting some of the shield and the hammer and all that good stuff. So,
yeah.
Oh, my wife isn't watching. She's not.
And just for the people in the audience that didn't get a chance to get a great look at it, and by the way, I am liking Streamlabs. I think it's been, or StreamYards. It's pretty cool. But
is this new, using StreamYard?
This is my first time. But for anyone that couldn't see, I went and I found your collection. Your collection.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Mac talks about. You got to figure out space. Like if you're gonna love this hobby, you got to figure out space. And sometimes you just pin them to the wall. Sometimes you just slide them under your bed. But some of them you want to show off, and so you've got to figure out. But like pinning them to the wall, like Mac does, that's. She inspired me to do that. So I've got a huge walls covered with like tacked up figures.
That's awesome. No, I love it. And how about you, Mac?
So my collection's not so big because I haven't been doing it that long, but I don't have any helmets or any lightsabers or anything like that. I only have Black Series and Vintage Collection figures, but I'm not gonna stop anytime soon, so it'll grow bigger than that. But I never really got into Legos. Not that I don't think they're cool. I think they're amazing. I just don't have any right now. And I have one Marvel Legends. I have the Groot, the like exclusive Groot that comes with Baby Groot.
That's a great figure.
Yeah, the less like where he's in the little flower pot and then adult Groot. So that's my only Marvel Legends figure, but I recently binged all of Marvel. I had never seen any of it. I watched every movie, and when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, why had no one ever told me about this? This is amazing.
This is the Star Wars of Marvel.
Yes.
That's exactly what I thought when I watched it. I was like, this is amazing. This is like
amazing.
Maybe more Star Wars than Star Wars. Don't tell anybody I said that.
Exactly. My boyfriend and I said the same thing. We were like, holy shit. Sorry, apologies for cussing on the live broadcast, but we were so shocked, and I loved Groot. So I was like, that is a great Marvel Legends figure to get because he's just so cool, and I just love Groot's character.
No, that's a great place to start. But how do you have just Groot, not the rest of the Guardians? I mean, you gotta.
I know.
Get on that.
I need to get
Groot's
more.
The cute one. Duh.
He's great, and my collection's growing for sure. I I'm gonna get more, but for now, I think I have around 80 Black Series, which that's a lot, but not as much as Toy Blaster, I'm sure. Still a good
They
amount.
do go up in value though. Like Chaco's right. You talk about it a lot on your channel, Mac, which I appreciate. Is they go up in value. Those can be investments. The Black Series figures can be investments when you go to find a certain one and it's gone up $50 and I think you've experienced that trying to look for certain figures.
I've experienced that trying to track down the Spider-Man figures. Like I don't know why Silk is like $60. But I need Silk. I just haven't been able to figure that out. So yeah, I mean that was my next question is has your guys' collections grown in value? Also, so two questions. Has it grown in value? And what is your prized possession? I will go to Mac first on that one.
Oh gosh. I don't know if mine's grown a ton in value. I have some really rare pieces, not by my own volition, but so someone anonymously sent like 50 Black Series figures to my PO box. I have no idea who it was.
What?
They didn't leave they didn't leave a note. They just said, I'm a Star Wars collector too. Here, enjoy these figures. So I have some really rare ones that I'm very grateful for, but I didn't pay for them. And I'll, of course, never let them go.
Do you think it was a watcher or a family member?
It was definitely someone who watches my TikTok because they referred to me as Loath Cat.
That's incredible. That's
incredible.
When you said is it a watcher, I was like Uatu? That's where my mind went.
Stan Lee?
Yeah, I've done a lot of giveaways. I've done like 6 or 7 giveaways now because I didn't think I had enough space, but I'm very grateful. But I have a really rare Han in Carbonite. So I have a really rare one of those. I have the Obi-Wan that everyone wants, the clone Commander Obi-Wan. People are obsessed with that one. I have the evil Anakin from Revenge of the Sith where he's angry and like making the fist. That's like a $200 Anakin that I got. And the Palpatine with the lightning hands, I have him.
Zappity Zap, yes.
Yeah. And I've got the old Cara Dune, which a lot of people have asked me for that figure because it's like never going to be remade. So people DM me pretty much every day asking me to buy it. And they like that one.
Wow, it's so cool. It's
Holy
so cool
crap.
that there's a whole community of figure hunters like checking in on your channel. That's very cool.
There was like 3 Cara Dunes the last time I went to Target.
Get them all. Get them
I
all.
didn't even think about that.
Feast or
They're
famine.
worth a lot of money because that won't be like reprinted or remade. So someone offered me over $100 for mine.
Oh wow.
So
I mean that's awesome. How about you, Jake? Have grown in value, and what's your prized possession?
So I'm sure this has grown in value some, but I don't keep anything in boxes. So for my Legos, it's there for me and my kids to play with. So I'm sure that my Captain Rex minifigure is pretty sought after, though, from what I hear. So I have that one, and I think Ponkrell's worth at least negative $100, but I have that one. But my prized possession is Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, and so I've got that right here, red 5 here. So that's one I've always wanted as a kid. It's my favorite because of nostalgia, and I don't care. Call me basic, but I love this ship. And there's Luke, and there's R2, but that's, just love that ship. So that's my prized possession. My kids got me that one specifically. I didn't buy them that one for Christmas. They bought that one for me. So
is that a Lego?
Yeah, this is Lego.
Oh, wow.
So
that's awesome. Is that R2 in there too?
It is. So
oh, neat. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Awesome. I love
That's really cool.
I mean, I remember watching, the season 2 ender of Mandalorian. I'm like, is that Red 5? Is that
yeah,
Red 5?
exactly what I was saying.
Is that Red 5?
Red 5. That's Red 5. And it was.
One single X-Wing.
Absolutely, and also how poetic it was that in Rise of Skywalker, Rey had returned to Acto, and so she flew Red 5, and Red 5 was the beacon that was lighting the way for the galaxy to come. I don't know.
Still just thinking about it. Incidentally, I just read in the comics where he got it back off of Cloud City. So that's not something I ever thought about in the originals. Like, he didn't leave Cloud City in the X-Wing. He left on the Falcon.
Awesome.
Okay. So, yeah. So I'm in the Star Wars 2020.
You're in 2020 now. Yeah, I know you were reading up. So you're getting caught up.
Those are so good.
And how about you, Toy Blaster?
Yeah, so I have a couple things going. Yeah. So Toy Blaster is the name because toys have always been my passion, even before movie reviews and Marvel reviews and that kind of stuff. So toys have always been the thing. And I'm a social worker by trade. So part of the thing we do is we'll go down and bring Legos to kids fighting cancer in the hospital. And it's always Star Wars Legos. And it's always stuff like that. We want to just spread the love. I give away a ton of stuff all the time. And so we just have a big warehouse full of toys, and we try to find the right spot for them at times. And that's where it all started, Toy Blaster, like having like a replica of Han's blaster from A New Hope. And so I have a couple of warehouses, and we're just seeing toys come and go and go out to this nonprofit to go to this person. And so there's a lot in there. There's Legos that have been still in the box from the 2013 Star Wars. Like any Star Wars Lego collector knows that the 2013, a lot of it's like the drop ship, a lot of Clone Wars sets. A lot of that stuff is worth a lot of money. It's worth a lot of money. And so we try to find the fan who loves it the most. I've got a couple movie posters, original movie posters from like the theater runs that are worth a lot of money. They're beautiful. They're hung up in our gallery. And and then there's just, I mean, I don't know. There's some of the action figures that we have are worth, a couple $1,000s. There's some wild stuff in there. My favorite though is not even, my favorite is my vintage collection of Transformers and Masters of the Universe, which are coming back now. Like I'm starting to see them all over Target.
That's the stuff I had as a kid. I wish I still had. And
some of that stuff is
all of it went away. That and G.I. Joe, but mostly the Transformers is what I love. That first gen.
Yeah. Transformers are awesome. So there's just so much. There's just so much cool stuff that we're able to get our hands on and send out to the next best person. I had a fan send in their old action figures, not 50 Black Series action figures like Matt got. That's the most amazing story I've ever heard. But I got just a bag of used action figures from a kid, and he's like, "You're the Toy Blaster. You know what to do with them. Will you find a good home for them?" And it was a really cool story. Just sending toys off to the next home. It's definitely awesome. Just like Woody and Buzz, taking care of kids.
Now you're trying to make me cry. I just watched Toy Story 4 for the first time, 2 weeks ago.
It's my favorite Toy Story movie of all time. It's just so good.
Also, just to say, if there's anything I could do to help out, it sounds like an awesome thing that you're doing, Toy Blaster. So if I can use my platform or anything to bring awareness.
Yeah, we've thought about doing some stuff. We've thought about doing a thing on TikTok where a bunch of us mutuals get together and pick somebody. I mean, you almost became the target. People were really pulling for you when you weren't feeling so well. But we're going to do a thing coming up where we get a bunch of mutuals together and we pick a TikTok creator who's just going through a rough patch, and we send them a set of Star Wars Legos. So that's going to be coming up in about 45 days, and I'll get you guys involved, and we'll nominate somebody and send them a love package, a Star Wars love package, just to cheer them up.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Sorry, did I I can't remember who I started with. Mac, did I get your prize position? I believe I did, right?
I didn't actually say my prized possession because I was so flustered about the P.O. box thing, which still blows my mind when I think about it. But I have a Admiral Akbar it's my only actual vintage figure. It's from, I think it's from the first release of Empire Strikes Back, I want to say, either that or Return of the Jedi. And it's a Japanese Admiral Akbar figure. I keep him like locked away in like several different packages, so I don't even look at him. But he's like
Doesn't even
this
get the light of
amazing
day
figure. Does
Hey,
not see the light of day ever.
Just knowing he's around is enough. Absolutely.
What's yours,
Yes.
Darth Choco? What's the one thing that you can put your hands on that you just absolutely adore, that you just love? Not valuable, but prized possession.
I can't. It's not something I can put my hands on, but this community for sure. I know that's a cheesy answer, but not gonna lie, this past year has been pretty trying on. I mean, a lot of ways. Seeing losing my job, seeing bad things happen to people look like me. There was just a lot of stuff. And it was just over a year ago that I was like, I'm just gonna start talking about Star Wars. Like, everything's crazy. I don't care. I bought this microphone before I ever made any content. Went on a friend's podcast on May the 4th to talk about Star Wars, and just started making TikToks there, and then I've made so that's one of my prized possessions as well. But I've made so many lifelong friends and things, and I don't know. It's been incredible. Especially, I have Discord servers and stuff that are even self-containing, and I can pop in, and there's like awesome people having these great conversations about Star Wars, and they're watching movies together and stuff. And like, even if I'm not part of it, I see that happening, and I'm like, this is, well, it makes me want to quote Loki, actually. Like, is this not simpler? Like, this is, he was kind of evil in that scene, but I just feels like it's the way it should be. And so I love it. And by extension, I appreciate all of you guys. JKev was on my very first podcast ever.
And thank you again for having me.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, Choco. You really one-upped everyone. We're talking about collecting action figures and Legos, and you're talking about collecting souls and hearts and good stories and memories. Well done, my good man. Well done.
The prize possession was the friends we made along the way.
Oh.
Also, it's Mephisto. Okay, so another lightning round. I gotta ask, what do you guys want the most? Like, what is the item that you are just chomping at the bit to find and attain? I'm going to Toy Blaster first.
Yeah, that's a great question. The Holy Grail. Sometimes in collecting, they call it the Holy Grail of man. I would probably love to get my hands on the UCS Falcon Lego set. There's a couple of them, but the UCS Falcon, it's huge. For a while, it was the biggest Lego set you could get your hands on. There's bigger ones now, but I'd probably like to get one of those. I mean, they're $700 or $800. My biggest intimidation with that is sitting down and building it. Because I have a kiddo too, and JKev has got me beat by a couple kiddos. But sitting down and building a Lego set, it's shocking to find the time. I think with all the stuff on your list, it's shocking to find the time. So I think the time and the extra cash to get the UCS Millennium Falcon would be my big Lego splurge. I'd be excited about that, and then maybe like a vacation to Hawaii to sit out on the deck at my resort and just build it with nothing else to worry about.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I've never even considered like building something on vacation, but that
Getting
would
it back home would be a nightmare. But that's just like the ones I would want because it'd be huge. But yeah, I still think that would be awesome. I'm sorry, I went right to logistics because of the kids and everything else.
It's all right. It's all right. You have to do that. You have to do that. And then my dream come true would be to go to like a Star Wars premiere at Disneyland or down there in Hollywood. I've worked at a couple, but I've never attended with like a snazzy outfit and a good looking date. So I want to be the guy who's not behind the velvet rope, but I want to be walking with like Brie Larson or somebody up to the Star Wars premiere would be pretty cool. That's on my bucket list.
nice. And I don't know if this is the exact one, but I just had to pull up a Lego Falcon. They are enormous and look quite daunting to build. Whole thing fits in, your arms, but that would be.
You need a big coffee table to display that.
Yeah, that's not the one we had. We had the smaller, older version, but I definitely want that.
I hope someday though we get a. Because I know there's the tabletop game for Star Wars. What's it called? It's the ship one. Anyone know what I'm talking about?
Where is it?
There's a Star Wars tabletop game where you are, the ships and you will battle with other ships. I don't play the game myself, but at
Like
Star
Battleship?
Wars Celebration. Chicago, they actually released a Super Star Destroyer one, and it's enormous. It's beautiful, and I need one. But how about you, Mac?
That's tough. I've been thinking a lot about finally getting a lightsaber because I don't have anything like that, and I've stepped away from it for a long time because they're expensive. But I'm thinking I would love to have just a lightsaber in general. So that'll be like my bucket list type item that I'll get to eventually. And like all-time dream, one day I want to visit the Star Wars Hotel. I saw the prices for it and I was like, oh, okay, well,
I didn't see the prices. What did they look like?
I think it's $3,000 for like 2 nights or something.
Oh, you're talking about the Starship, the new Florida Starship.
Yeah.
It's like the Star Cruiser Hotel. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, the Star Cruiser. It would be amazing to go, but also I feel like that money could be spent on like other trips. So maybe one day I'll make that happen.
Mac, what would be your favorite lightsaber if you got to pick somebody's lightsaber?
Someone asked me this. Yeah, someone asked me this, and it almost got chosen to be the lightsaber at Disneyland, but it's the one from Vader Immortal. It's Master Korvax's lightsaber.
That's
an exposed.
Crazy. That's a wild lightsaber.
I want that. And Disney, the Imagineers actually almost released it, but then Cal Kestis, his lightsaber won, which is very cool. But one day I want that because it has like the exposed kyber crystal that lights through. So one day.
Lord Korvax.
Yes. Vader Immortal, by the way, was incredible. I don't know if any of you have done any VR.
I don't have VR, and I need to.
It's great. It's a great story.
Yeah.
I love now that people get weird when I say this. But I love that now we have a solid canon versus, the expanded universe, which wasn't canon. People get mad when I say that. I love the expanded universe. I've read so many of the books. Don't be mad at me. But the fact that now, since we have a solid canon, and that the effects from Vader Immortal directly started healing the planet, and that's why it looks a little nicer when you see it in Rogue One, and a lot nicer when you see it in Rise of Skywalker, and this the lore of like having this stupid game affect the planet that's in the movie. is awesome. I love it.
And you get to be the one to do it.
In it?
What?
The Eye of Webbish Bog?
Yes, that which is terrifying and piece of my nightmares.
A scene I would have loved to have actually seen in the movie in The Rise of Skywalker, but it's described in the book, right? So
described in the book, and also you do see Eye of Webbish Bog in Vader 20,
in the Vader comics.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen it, picture a weird spider creature on top of a giant muscular baby.
Yeah, it's very
it can look like whatever it wants you to see. Yeah,
like something out of The Thing. It's absolutely like Lovecraftian.
Absolutely. And how about you, J. Kev? What do you want the most?
I want one of those Star Destroyers, the Ultimate Collection. So
Nice.
It's like 4,000. I forget how many pieces. It's a lot. But really, anything Lego Star Wars, I want to do like the mid-sized ships or bigger. I don't want really like the little mini ships. I can give those to my kids or whatever. But I love building them. I like displaying them. I might like crashing them together once in a while. So I can rebuild them.
J. Kev, do your kids pick Star Wars Legos, or are they after other lines?
For the most part, for years they did Star Wars Legos. Although we've got some Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and DC and Marvel stuff, so they've got kind of a little smattering of all those things. But for years they picked specifically Star Wars Legos. Now a couple of my kids are like, Star Wars. Just like, well, if you want to come back home at any time, you're going to have to get back into Star Wars.
You can't come home until you watch Bad Batch.
That's right. I will not support you in the future. No, I'm kidding.
There she is.
Yeah, that's the one. I've seen like a huge one on display at one of these shows where they have like Lego creations. And
like a custom.
It was like, I think 8 feet long or 10 feet, between 8 and 10 feet long. It was amazing. And they had to have it in like 3 sections that you had to be able to disassemble and put in a truck to be able to drive it places. So I don't want that one. I want, the one you just showed or smaller.
So I have a question for you from DePaul here. No Death Star?
I would like the Death Star too. I just, Star Destroyer seems like a step before the Death Star. For me, so I want the Death Star just so I can recreate that moment, in Spider-Man, like my Lego Death Star. I'm kidding. I almost cried when it broke. I was like, no.
That's a great scene. That's a great scene.
So good.
And then later in the movie, they finish it together when times get tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of bonding over the thing.
Okay. So. With all the stuff that you guys are collecting, I mean, I gotta ask, you talked about it is possible to do on a budget, but one of the questions I had earmarked was how much time, money, and effort does it take? Well, go to JCAV first.
Yeah, it just really depends on what you want to invest in it. Like some people don't want to get started, like I said, because it just feels daunting. And it can just be as simple as, hey, I like this thing, like Funko Pops or whatever it is that you're into. And then you just start picking a couple of those and spend what time and money you have on it. Then maybe you get more into it, like Mac has done and others, myself included. Like with the books and comics, like I didn't even start that until COVID hit. And then listening to people like you, Chaco, and others, Element 7, and I just was like, I need all these books and things like that. So I started collecting those. Now digitally, so I don't have physical ones to show you for the most part, but you can not feel like you have to collect everything all at once. It's a collection it's a long-term commitment kind of thing, but not in the sense of like you're not married to it. You know what I mean? You're not like that woman in the Star Wars, George Lucas, screwed over the fandom, whatever documentary. So yeah, it's just what you want to collect. And it's just like TikToks or whatever social media you're on. You shouldn't be doing it for everybody else. You should do what you like. And if that takes off, great. If it doesn't, you're still having fun. And that's the way I look at it.
Now, How about you, Toy Blaster?
Yeah, Jacob's right. You gotta love it. Like you gotta be passionate about it. You gotta, if you're doing it just to go make a post, if you're going down just to, finish a Lego set just so you can get out and post it, you'll get burned out for sure. You've gotta love it and find, the passion. That's the cool thing about collecting. Take a few stabs, try some different stuff. I think Legos right now, Lego is huge. Is Lego's even bigger than Black Series action figures. The Black Series action figure is my wheelhouse. That's my favorite. I love Mac's collection. But right now, Lego is bigger than it's ever been. It's just massive. Just the TikTok Lego community has created some really cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. So if you love it, if you're passionate about it, go for it. I have obsessive tendencies, and so I probably don't do it always in the most healthy way and spend a little extra money outside of my budget that I probably can't afford. Yeah, I'm definitely on impulse buy for sure, Star Wars scholar. But yeah, I go for I don't have to be a completist. I don't have to have everything. I just want it if it's beautiful. If it's something beautiful that inspires me and I put it up on my wall and I'm doing my work in my office and I look over at a Batman sculpt or a Spider-Man sculpt or a Obi-Wan Kenobi and it inspires me and I see art and it gives me that rush. That's what I'm looking for. Something beautiful like the Dooku lightsaber hilt. It's beautiful. It's got craftsmanship. And so that's what I look for when I'm collecting is something that's going to be with me and I'm going to be inspired by it from here on out, truth, beauty, something meaningful.
And I love the way you put it, and I'm just thinking about myself, and I realize what my actual problem is. When I was young, we moved around a lot. Like we were just always moving places, and I've carried that into adulthood. I moved around all the time. I moved to San Diego, by myself. Almost on impulse. I moved to Oregon, same way. And each of those, I only brought what would fit my car. I've never really even
traveled light. Yeah, that's kind of scary thinking
bedroom.
about that.
So I think that's really what's held me back. But now that I'm married, I don't have that option anymore. So I should start. I could start now. But yeah, your thoughts on it, Mac? I mean, you're one of the people that watching your content inspires me to like go out and look for stuff. So, what are your thoughts?
So I'm similar to you. I moved around a ton, and I've always been just like what you said. What I could fit into one duffel bag was like the entirety of my possessions. But just recently, in the last few years, I've become like financially stable and finally have, money for things other than just like this essentials, So I really started to collect. But as you can see, like by my blank walls, I'm not used to having like stuff. So I'm still really new to that. And I'm obsessed with finding the deals. So I post a lot on my page about like how you can collect on a budget and like what you can do to find this for cheaper. And like I'm all about that because I don't like paying.
A thrill. That's part of the hobby too. Like it's a rush when you're like save a few bucks.
Totally. And there are some websites that are like really good to collect on, and then some that they'll charge you an arm and a leg. So you got to follow those deals, and I'm all about that. And I do get all of the Star Wars books too, but I get them from the library. So I've read almost every canon Star Wars book and like comic, but I check them all out from the app Libby. So it's like connected to my local library.
Whoa.
And yeah, so That's so
frugal. That's so smart.
Yeah, it's great because you can get everything. They don't have like the brand new stuff. Like Thrawn Ascendancy just got on there. So I'm like a little behind the rest of the community, but they have like the Rise of Skywalker novelization, the new High Republic books, and that adds up. So I recommend anyone who wants to do it on a budget, check the library. So that's what I do.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for coming out and talking collecting with me. I gotta ask, is there anything that's coming out soon? Because they're always talking about new stuff that's on the way out. Is there anything coming out soon that you've got your eye on, Toy Blaster?
There's a lot. One of the big announcements this year. There's one that's going to be out real soon. It's the Daily Bugle Lego set for Spider-Man. It comes with a ton of minifigures. It's massive. It's one of the biggest Marvel sets that's ever been released. It's basically like a UCS Marvel set. And so it's the whole skyscraper building of the Daily Bugle. And then inside, all these little scenes from Spider-Man's history and comic books. It's beautiful. But the big announcement this year for Star Wars Lego is the UCS gunship from Attack of the Clones. And it's going to be a massive set. And when they say UCS, they mean fit to scale of the minifigures. So they're just huge and beautiful. So there's one coming out this year. It's going to be like $400. That's the one I'm going to be looking for. A lot of good Lego sets coming out for sure this year. That Star Wars sets that are going to hurt my wallet.
Awesome. And how about you, Mac?
So I am really excited about the Ahsoka and Maul figures that are coming out. They're the vintage collection figures. It's Ahsoka and Maul from the Siege of Mandalore. I've had those pre-ordered since like Christmas, I want to say. And I get the emails like they're still on order, and I've been waiting and waiting. So those eventually are going to arrive at my apartment, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. But also these, like the Clone Wars figures, I've been waiting for these. So when I got these today, I was stoked. That's what I was looking out for. There's also a Maul from the comic books. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's a Black Series comic book Maul. Nice. Mine's going to arrive in a couple weeks. So I'm really excited. And Luke has Thrawn's, I don't know the pronunciation, but like Thrawn's creature on his neck.
Islamiri.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great figure. Yeah. So he's on the way too. I'm really excited about those. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll review them once they show up.
Awesome. I will be eagerly awaiting those TikToks. How about you, JKF? Is there anything that's coming out soon?
The Bad Batch Attack Shuttle is coming out August 1st, Lego. And it's got the Bad Batch crew, but I don't see Omega. So we got to figure out how to get an Omega, or if I'll make one myself. So yeah, Omega. So so that's exciting. That is probably something I'll get for my daughter, and then she'll be able to display it with the rest of our ships and stuff. So very cool. That's what I'm looking for. August 1st.
That's awesome.
After the show is probably done, the first season, but whatever.
Awesome. I love it.
Choco, whose lightsaber would you like to own? Which lightsaber replica would you want?
I am torn. Well, Leia's lightsaber is so beautiful. It just it just speaks to me.
That one's just released. It's stunning.
Yes. Yeah. So they just released that one. They just released the Darksaber one as well, which I'm not as excited for. And there was a third release like within the past like month that they announced. But yeah, if I'm picking a lightsaber, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta go Luke green lightsaber. It's the classic. It looks comfy in the hand. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they just released the Rey. They just released the Rey and the Leia. They're beautiful. They did a great job on both of them. Those are the Disney versions.
Yeah.
It was hard seeing that set, like it went out to certain Star Wars TikTokers, and seeing them unbox it, I was like, I've never been more jealous in my entire life. Because when you open it and it plays the music, and it was like Luke and Leia's sabers intertwined, I was like, I've never felt that kind of jealousy as seeing those people open it on May 4th.
Yeah, that's part of the goal too, is to get to that level where I'm getting those. But
PR list.
We're working on it. Getting there. Let's see here. DePaula says he's actually going to get the Darksaber for his 4-year-old daughter. Saying that her name is Sabine. That's so cool.
That's really cool. That is
cool.
Perfect. That's perfect.
My friend Mike said that the Revan saber is his number one. I totally think Revan saber is like amazing. I love the colors too. That's a good saber.
I just got the purple Revan saber. I posted on it. You can check my post. It's really cool. It's a really cool saber.
What? Do you have it right there with you?
It's at my office. I wish I could bring it up. It's really cool. Like it's got movable prongs at the tip, and yeah, it's cool. You can do the purple, rainbow, lots of different colors.
That's so cool.
I actually won one of those in a trivia contest, and then they sent me his other lightsaber, and I was like, oh, no.
Oh man.
And the other one was also off-colored and had a lot of problems, but I will not be doing business with that. And I won it in November, and I received it in February. But I'm not gonna.
But bragging rights for winning the trivia is more important.
So true.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, Element and I, with the blessing from Master Allen, are doing our own trivia where you actually win one of the level up lightsabers at the end of it. And so each week on the other podcast that I do with Element 7 called Dyad in the Force, we're doing trivia contests to as qualifiers. So like we actually just did an original trilogy one. We are doing a Clone Wars series only trivia. And
whoa, so that's deep. That's a deep one.
Yeah. So we're taking like the top people from each of these different sectors, and then once we get to the end, we're gonna do a big quiz that encompasses everything. That's gonna be the whole stream. And the winner is gonna get a level up lightsaber. So we're working on it. So yes, you guys are more than free to join. There's only been one qualifier so far. And trust me, we're going to do one. We're doing a Clone Wars one. We're going to do a Rebels one. We're going to do a prequels and sequel trilogy one. I don't know if we're going to do more than that. But yeah, X-Core Gamer Skills, he qualified. I think.
That's awesome.
I actually think the qualifiers, we're going to make them easier than yours was, but the rest assured, the final one is going to put people through the paces. So that's what I'm excited for.
I could probably do it for Rebels. I was obsessed with Rebels to the point where I think I've watched it through like 3 times. So I could probably do it for Rebels.
Yeah, please join. I will specifically message you so you know what week we're doing it. Okay.
Cool.
And Jake, you better be online when we're doing sequels at the very least. But
Jake will win the sequel.
I feel called out. So all right.
Yeah. I love your posts about the sequels, Jake Kevin. They've been like such a sense of solidarity because people are always so mean to me when I talk about the sequels. So I see your posts and I'm like, I'm not alone.
Definitely not alone. And by the way, I just followed both of you back, or I followed both of you anyway. So now I'll start seeing your content. So I'm glad that we're on this thing together.
Yeah, for sure. It's great seeing all of you. Darth Chocolate was the first person I saw on Star Wars TikTok. I remember the day I joined, I saw one of your videos talking about the books, and I was like, heck yeah, this is awesome. I love the Star Wars community on TikTok. So it's been great.
So cool.
Yes.
It's helped me a lot. How many people have gotten into book collecting from TikTok? Yeah. Like Star Wars books have blown up.
Yeah.
That
was
was
pretty much done
bet.
with the fandom before I met a lot of Chaco and Element 7 and others. I just was like, once they started putting petitions out to get rid of the sequel trilogy, I didn't know that there were this many non-toxic people still left in the fandom. And I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm done. But then I got on TikTok and there's so many good people and to just enjoy Star Wars together and don't want all that noise. So, we're better together. That's why I'm glad I'm here.
I love how Star Wars Scholar puts it. They win by making you think you're alone, but there's more of us.
There's more of us.
And speaking of which,
true.
I always say, it's okay to not like stuff.
Totally.
No one's dogging you guys for that, but we just we just want to focus on what we love, and that's the important thing.
Yes.
So going forward, stepping out of the collecting world, what in Star Wars are you looking forward to that's coming up most? Now, this can be, one of the 10 upcoming shows and movies that we got, but it could also be a con or a celebration or a book or whatever. I'm just curious, what in the universe of Star Wars are you guys looking forward to the most? We'll start with Mac.
I am most excited for the animated series I've been working on. I feel like people are going to love it, and I've loved being part of coming up with ideas within the Star Wars universe. Even if it's, a fan series, we're still trying to incorporate that into the real existing canon and like make it as accurate as we can. So I've been super jazzed with working on it, and I'm loving seeing where it goes. So that's been really exciting for me.
That's super cool.
That's amazing. Do you post updates to that on your TikTok?
Sometimes, yes. And we also have a Discord channel and a YouTube that we posted our teaser trailer. So you can always check our updates out that way. But it's been really exciting. So I'm loving that. Thanks.
If you guys ever need a consultant, I'm happy to talk Star Wars at any point with anybody.
That would be great.
How about you, Jake? What are you looking forward to?
The Ahsoka show. I'm just pumped about that show coming up. I'm ready for all the content. There's not one project that I'm just like, I don't want that project. I want all of it, but Ahsoka is the one I'm most excited for, hands down.
Yeah. I still just the logo alone was enough to see the Virgin scanner, and you're like, what does it mean? I must know.
We need all that lore coming out. I need to see Rebels 2 basically, and to see them search for Ezra. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm hoping we get a lot of those characters. There's just so much that they can do with that show, and I just was pumped with her in one episode of The Mandalorian. I was just like, yep, bring more Ahsoka. I need more Ahsoka.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for that one, and the Acolyte specifically. Those two are, I think they're going to be incredible.
No one's really talking about the Acolyte. That's like a very under wraps thing that a lot of people don't know about. So I can't wait to see.
I've been devouring every bit of High Republic content that I can get my hands on, and so, it's making me really excited to see the tail end of that. So, whatever cracks led to the prequels, plus it's going to be dark side lore and all that stuff, and she said it's going to be almost Indiana Jones style adventure of they're traveling from place to place, and I just don't know what it means. I must know.
I've been really behind. I haven't done any of the High Republic stuff yet, so I'm about to just jump into it after I finish like a handful of novels that I've got already in the works. But like reading the Star Wars 2020 comics and how they keep referring to the High Republic, it's amazing how all this stuff ties back into each other. And a lot of people don't like that there's extra media. You can watch all the films without any of it, but if you want to know more, there's so much more out there, and that's what I love about the new canon. And I'm just really hyped because I'm taking mental notes and actually screenshots of every time they mention the High Republic in the comics. And then as I'm reading the High Republic, I want to see how those things match up because I know they will.
Yeah. And not to mention, so they've actually been planning the High Republic starting from like 2015. I mean, they had like 4 major ideas of what they could do before they settled on it. And what I found is I reread Dooku Jedi Lost. There's High Republic stuff in it. It was before anything was announced, before I knew, but like, you know, there's more seeds than we even, there's High Republic stuff in the Rise of Kylo Ren comics. There's like, it's all over the place. And like, once you dive in and then you kind of go back, you're like, oh, there's that. Like, I don't know. It's really cool. It's really exciting to me. But yeah, how about you, Toy Blaster?
For me, it's just the Kenobi show. I feel like the Kenobi show is basically you're getting just another trilogy. You know, this is going to be a whole, you know, trilogy length piece of content that is, and I think it's really going to change. I'm telling people it's going to change the way we look at Star Wars. I just think it's going to reveal storylines, ideas, emotion. You know, to me, the hype for the Kenobi show, it just couldn't be any bigger. So every little piece that comes out, all the Ewan McGregor interviews, I'm Jones, and I'm frothing and getting excited about that. So I think that's where I just think it's going to break the internet and create a whole new fandom, a whole new group of people introduced to Star Wars, just like WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier did for Marvel. I think the Kenobi show is it's gonna be wild.
I totally agree.
And all those new fans are valid. We need to make sure the community knows that.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's so cool though, because I know I've seen people that have been watching The Bad Batch. That's the first Star Wars they've ever watched. They all thought it was so boring,
cool.
And they're like,
"That's really cool."
It's cool. Every single. That's why I always ask what people's backstories are, because it's easy to assume, oh, you must have come into it. Oh, if you're in my age bracket, you must have come into it with the re-releases and stuff too. That's not true. I mean, I know somebody he hates when I bring it up, but like Lego Star Wars, the video game was his introduction. Never watch anything like that.
Great introduction, yes. Honestly. I love it. Yes. I can't wait. I forgot that one because it's been coming out for a year.
The
Skywalker Saga. So whenever that drops, I'm buying it that day, and my kids and I are just going to play the heck out of it. So yeah.
Yes.
I'm buying it the day it comes out. It's also why I'm trying to kind of resurrect my Twitch presence, because I'm probably going to try to stream the entire thing. So
that's a good idea.
We'll see how that goes. Awesome. I love it so much. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I want to go around, one last time and ask, do you guys have any closing thoughts? Do you have anything that you guys want to plug? Projects, giveaways, anything like that. So just a reminder of where we can find all your content. Closing thoughts on the subjects that we've had, and plug away. And I will start with Toy Blaster on this one.
Yeah, you can find all announcements from me on TikTok, and like I said, in 2 months from now, we're going to be doing a giveaway, but it's not the standard kind of giveaway. It's to bless other creators on TikTok that are doing good work and going through a rough patch. And so we're going to be voting on giving some stuff to some cool TikTok creators, and they might get a Lego set or an action figure, stuff like that. And then next week, I'm dropping the first episode of my movie podcast. And so it's a movie news podcast, and there will always be a segment devoted to Star Wars and just riffing on the latest movie news and kind of our, the vibe we're getting from new trailers and stuff like that. And so that drops next week. And you can find that on
starting,
YouTube.
Starting, of course, with the Snake Eyes trailer. If I'm picking up,
I have a lot of thoughts on that. I have a lot of thoughts on the Snake Eyes trailer for sure. I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. So yeah, that's and you'll hear about it all on TikTok.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, can't wait to check that out. How about you, Mac?
That's super exciting about that. I'm also a movie lover, so I'll be following that definitely. I'm Loth Cat on TikTok, just like it's spelled here. So loth.cat. And I post everything on TikTok about my figures and what I'm looking for. I'm really excited because I'm going to be reviewing some new stuff in the coming weeks. A brand actually reached out to me to review some Star Wars stuff, which is like the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So, very cool. I'm going to be reviewing some new stuff in the coming weeks. And my animated series is in progress. My team is fantastic. So, you can follow along for all my updates on TikTok.
Nice.
Awesome. Love it. And then real quick with that, with your, with the Clone Wars project, what's the name of that YouTube channel so that people can subscribe if they want to also get updates that way?
Yes, it's linked in my bio, but if you want to search it directly, it's Adventures of the 501st. So we're following the 501st, and yeah, you can check us out on YouTube as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And how about you, Jacob?
So I'm planning finally, I've been saying this for a while, but like I actually have a couple of series planned for my YouTube channel. Now that I've got that out underway, I'm going to try to put out a few videos a week on like different Star Wars and Marvel. I'm going to start with those two because they're the ones that I'm most into. Movies and TV shows and things, and just walk through some of the story elements and break it down. And then also to try to dispel some of the misinformation that's out there about like, you know, so-and-so doesn't have these skills, or this didn't happen in this story when it actually happened. But not in a confrontational way. I'm going to try my best to just be like, well, you may hear this complaint, but you know, X, Y, Z actually happened, and try to just put some more content out there so that stuff can start to get out there in the community, especially on YouTube particularly. Yeah. So that's my goal with the YouTube, and probably some other stuff too. But it's Epic Worldview on YouTube, and it's linked in my bio as well. And the idea is just, you know, understanding these stories can help us to see our own world in a whole different way. And that's why I love these epic stories, because there's so many different things about good and evil, and just different like moral philosophies, and just ways of looking at life through those lenses. And
it's modern day mythology.
Exactly. And I mean, there's a reason why Joseph Campbell got into it, and then that attracted George Lucas and so on, right? And the Stan Lee stuff and all the other Marvel creators from decades past, all those epic stories tell us something about our world that can make us better. So that's my focus there. I'm going to continue to do that stuff on TikTok as well. And I just want people to feel free to like the things they like and not worry about the hate that they get from other people. Just do your best to ignore it. Or if you're like me, you know, just kind of smirk at them and throw some stuff back over the fence. Yeah, yes. I do that once in a while. It's fun.
I'm going to definitely watch out for that, because I'm really new to the Marvel world. So I would love to learn more about everything that you mentioned. I need to really brush up on all my knowledge.
Awesome.
And also, Jacob, one of the things I look forward to the most is your future coverage of Shang-Chi. So
yes,
I'm really excited about that.
That's definitely going to be a big highlight on both of my outlets, and probably Twitter as well, because there's so much. I'm going to interview. My wife has agreed to come on camera this time. We did the Mulan review, and we were both just doing voice, but I convinced her that she can actually get on camera for this one, for the YouTube and everything. So, and my kids as well. So I'm excited about that. All awesome. Kung Fu practitioners, for those that you don't know. My wife and my two sons all teach Kung Fu, classic Chinese Kung Fu. And my wife is Chinese. And so there's a lot about the culture of what's going into Shang-Chi that is very particular to us. And the representation is just really exciting. And Simu Liu is going to kill it. I know he did it. So yeah. I'm really excited.
I can't wait. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been my first episode back. There's been a pause, so thank you guys for being patient, especially because last time I canceled on the Wednesday. That's the day I went to the hospital.
How dare you? No, I'm glad. We're glad you're better. We're all glad.
Thank you guys for being willing to come back. And yeah, I love this community, and I will have all of you guys back for other topics. But for now, may the force be with you always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. I'm glad you're back, Darth Choco.